Hey guys, it's Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And this is a PSA. We just want to remind you that Disney owns Star Wars. That Disney owns Star Wars, and anything you're thinking about getting excited about, just keep that in the back of your mind, that it's Disney Star Wars, and they're applying all of the Disney tricks and marketing techniques to the Star Wars franchise. And we're going to talk about that in The Mandalorian, and how The Mandalorian might not be what you're thinking it's going to be.
Yeah.
In this special episode of Clownfish TV.
Okay.
Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We're at like 61 point something subs now.
Yeah.
We can't tell with that new numbering system. Hoping to hit 100,000 by the end of the year. It'd be awesome if we could do that. You guys, your support has meant a lot to us. We want to keep bringing you content like this.
I guess.
So,
yeah. Let's go.
So we're gonna go. So just remember, Disney owns Star Wars. So Freeform.
They own Freeform too.
They own Freeform, which used to be ABC Family, which used to be the Christian channel CBC.
Oh, it was that was TVN. I don't know. Who knows? They own it. It was ABC Family, and now it's Freeform. They own it. Either way.
It was Pat Roberts.
They're using their own
CBN,
networks to try to promote things, like
Right.
always.
So Disney is applying its special magic to Star Wars. Now, if you're a Disney Parks fan, you will remember back in the 80s, every time they had a new ride open,
Yep.
they would have some star-studded, ridiculous, goofy musical special.
They did.
They did it for Splash Mountain. They did it for Epcot.
Yep.
I don't think they did it for Star Tours, but they did it for a lot of the bigger attractions
They did
back
it for
then.
Hollywood Studios, didn't they?
Hollywood Studios, they did a special. So anytime Disney opened a new park or a new ride, they always did some special to get people there. And they're applying that marketing technique to Star Wars. But it's not even getting a primetime special. They're dumping it on Freeform, and nobody freaking watches Freeform now.
No, it's like the CW.
It is. It's like the CW of Disney now. So it's like the ass end of the ass end of the galaxy here. So yeah, they're gonna have a show called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge: Adventure Waits. It's gonna be hosted by Neil Patrick Harris, who is a Disney super fan. He's always in the parks. He's always doing like the
I like
candlelight.
Neil Patrick Harris.
I like him too. I think
like
he's
him a
cool.
lot.
How can you not like Neil Patrick Harris? But he does the candlelight processional
Every year, yeah.
Every year he's there all the time. So it makes sense that they would bust out Neil Patrick Harris to push Galaxy's Edge in Disney World. I think this is Disney World or Disneyland's version.
Disneyland, I think.
Both.
Well, both probably.
Both.
It's
They're probably
both.
gonna do like coast to coast.
They do it all the time. Here's these people on this coast. They do it for like the holiday specials and stuff. They do
Yeah.
it. They do it like here's these actors in Disneyland. Here's these actors in Disney World, and they go back and forth. And that's probably what they'll do because they do this all the time every year with the holiday shows.
Well, okay, speaking of the holiday, this basically, I'm reading this write-up, and what this reminds me of is this is the new Star Wars holiday special. It's a star-studded comedic look, and they're trying to sell you on this, the Galaxy's Edge, which is itself kind of a parody of Star Wars with $8, $9 milks and crazy
Milks
stuff.
and quote.
Milks, and yeah, it's going to be an all-star cast. Jay freaking Leno is showing up, and Neil Patrick Harris. They're going to talk to the Imagineers about the park. You know, this is it right here, Chewie and the Wine Moms. That's what we're looking at. The special's going to follow Harris as he meets up with Key for some laughs in Oga's Cantina and takes a tour of Batuu. This is the Star Wars Holiday Special Part 2.
Yeah, kind of.
That's what this is. So they're definitely trying really hard to pitch Star Wars to the normies. And I think we're going to lead into just remember, guys, Disney still owns Star Wars because Jon Favreau wants to make a new Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah, I mean, I said this to you, didn't I?
You did
and
say
I
this
was
to
like,
me.
what?
So this,
What's beloved? The holiday special. What can we ruin now? Not the holiday special is cheesy as hell. But what can we ruin now? The holiday special. People will search Star Wars Holiday Special, and instead of the original, they'll get ours, and we'll get those views.
oh god, we need a third Ewoks movie too.
That's right.
Except they can't actually be the Ewoks because George Lucas created them and he might get royalties. So we'll have I'd say the Wookiees, but those are the Wookiees. So we'll have the
Porgs.
the Wok-Woks.
That'd be Porgs.
The Porgs. It'll be Planet of the Porgs Holiday Special. Planet of the Porgs.
Will they eat a vegetarian Thanksgiving or Christmas meal because,
No, they actually do serve porg for Christmas, and the whole holiday special is going to be about which porg is going to be the chosen porg that gets to be eaten by the rest.
To appease the lords to make sure that they aren't all annihilated.
Right. So the fish
with the Star Killer base.
Star Killer base, yeah.
With the portable Death Stars.
The portable Death Stars. This is how they keep the bad guys away. We sacrifice a porg on Porgsgiving, and we eat our own. So while speaking with Entertainment Tonight at the Saturn Awards, Jon Favreau explained that he wants Disney Plus to let him tackle that off-maligned entry into the Star Wars franchise.
Let's be honest, it was pretty bad.
We'll do a holiday special on Disney Plus. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
No.
I gotta pitch it to them. We'll see. You want to see a holiday special on Disney Plus? Let them know.
No, I don't. Because it'll be now. Disney Plus holiday special will be why you should go to Galaxy's Edge for Christmas, and it'll be all filmed in Galaxy's Edge.
Oh my God!
Did we mention Galaxy's Edge? And they'll have the actors come in. Look, it's Rey. She's come to Batuu. You should come to Batuu too. She's the perfect one's here. The chosen one's here.
The chosen one. We'll eat her. We'll eat her for Porgsgiving.
That's Twitter.
So this leads into the Mandalorian, because you know what? The Mandalorian, the trailer looked good. I was surprised how good the trailer looked, and I'm like, no, wait a minute. The other shoe is going to drop, because we're still talking about Disney Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Something is going to be wrong with this.
Because Disney can't seem to learn.
They don't learn. They just double down. And we're going to talk a little bit about The Mandalorian, and the article that kind of prompted this whole video, which is on Bleeding Fool. Ichibaka said, he's got a bad feeling about The Mandalorian. He explains why, and I tend to agree. I was looking into it, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is going to be what the fans think it's going to be. So, I was just saying about Favreau being the showrunner of The Mandalorian, emerging as one of the premier voices in the franchise, especially as it expands to live-action series. Basically Star Wars has been relegated to direct-to-TV, direct-to-video
For now, until they can get the audience back, which I don't know if they're going to be able to.
I don't know if they're going to.
I think they're going to try to use these to build it back up again.
Now, it does have Jon Favreau, it does have Dave Filoni, which I think he should have actually been put in charge of Lucasfilm. He seems to actually get it, except for that time travel thing with Ahsoka. That could open up a whole nother can of worms. We don't want to go there. Okay. This is what prompted the video. Bear with me. We have. I
haven't seen this yet. So.
Yeah, this is coming from Bleeding Fool. This is coming from Ichibaka, who is on Twitter.
Yes,
I think
I've seen Ichibaka.
Go follow Ichibaka. Sure, The Mandalorian looks kick-ass, but I have concerns.
Okay.
Because this is Disney Star Wars. It's not gonna be what you think it is. This isn't gonna go the way that you think it is. So to build hype for the arrival of Disney Plus, Lucasfilm released the trailer for The Mandalorian, the first ever live-action Star Wars direct-to-video TV series. Trailer didn't reveal much about the story, but they had plenty of great-looking footage. Yeah, because they were trying to get everybody on board. Like, look, guys, bounty hunters, stormtroopers,
here's
chicken
almost
walker.
the characters you know. It's almost the Walker you know. It's almost the bounty hunters you know.
Knock off Boba Fett, knock off IG-88.
Right, it's almost what you remember. Right.
So, there's no question about it. The trailer for The Mandalorian looks kick-ass. It did. Even Squid King, who doesn't really care for Star Wars that much, was like, it actually looks pretty good. As we know, Disney Star Wars is woke, which of course means that Disney Star Wars is dumb. I think Ichibaka runs website Disney Star Wars is dumb. We've all seen kick-ass trailers before, only to be disappointed. Yeah, I remember Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers completely geeking out over The Last Jedi trailer. And I have to admit, I was geeking out over The Last Jedi trailer. I was super excited for The Last Jedi. I thought it was going to be really good. And it wasn't.
That scene right there, though, that makes me cringe every time I see it. I mean, literally cringe. It makes me cringe.
So this is, okay, so someone on a forum, Kiwi Farms, had this to say about The Mandalorian. It'd be interesting setting-wise, and the first leaked trailer was mostly just showing off original trilogy and EU stuff. Per Filoni's suggestion, let's hide the Disney Star Wars. He did the same with Resistance, and Resistance wound up being something completely different, and it's canceled already because nobody cared. Along with the Empire and Classic Aliens, Devronians, Twi'leks, Jawas, and Dewbacks, but none of this is permanent or a sign of improvement. The show info I've posted before already revealed it will initially start off as OT-based, but will eventually move away from familiarity to focus solely on sequel lore and the trashy First Order, with it already being confirmed that The Last Jedi aliens will be recycled for the show. Also of note is the show was originally the Boba Fett movie project before being converted to a TV series. Yeah, we figured that. Yep. And having Fett completely cut out and replaced with a donut steel. Which just raises the question as to why they didn't just use Boba Fett.
That's what I want to know. This is because that George Lucas deal. That's what people are thinking. Yeah.
So then again, it probably has to do with the George Lucas royalties thing again. And even if normies finally get an explanation about the First Order, it doesn't change their tonally lame future and what an effing worthless chode Snoke is. Yeah. The future is still the same lame horse shit. At least with the prequels at their worst, you were confident in knowing that their future was an interesting one, full of more beloved characters.
Right.
But hey, after 7 years and 4 movies, they finally released something that explains just what the hell is going on in their new trilogy, which isn't a book series.
Right, or a comic book series. That's what I keep saying. You know, you guys are going back and explaining this stuff in books and comics, and most people are not going to read.
They're not.
And plus, some of the people that you put on the comic books, especially, I don't think people want to read them.
We're going to talk about that.
So I'm just
Chuck
saying.
Wendig, we're going to talk about that. But well, this is the thing, too, like... Yeah, there were only a handful of people who watched Solo in the theater with us, but they seemed kind of confused when Darth Maul appeared intact with robotic legs, because a lot of the normies never watched the cartoon shows.
They didn't know.
Read the books. They didn't know that somehow Darth Maul, who was cut in half because George Lucas didn't want him to ever come back, came back anyway because he was popular and merchandisable.
Yeah, what character did they actually like from the prequels? Darth Maul, hurry up, use that, go.
Boba Fett crawls out of the Sarlacc pit. Darth Maul gets robo legs. You know, that's what we do. So, technically, it's taken from the books due to the fact that Jon Favreau is a supporter of Chuck Wendig and his books, and will be using them as a basis for the Empire's return as the First Order. Even the main characters hinted to be related to the Mandalorian that Chuck Wendig created, who acquired what is thought to be Boba Fett's helmet.
Of course he did.
So readers will have to decide for themselves how reliable a source this guy is on the forums, but I went ahead and did my own digging. What I found wasn't pretty. So here from Amanda Ward at MakingStarWars.net, they said that basically the Mandalorian shares a piece of equipment, which is basically an ice cream maker.
You can tell it's an ice cream maker.
Yeah, from Cloud City. What also might be likely is that the post from Favreau is a subtle way of showing solidarity with Star Wars writer Chuck Wendig. See, he posted this, who was fired from Marvel Comics for his outspoken liberal views online.
No, he said, I mean, like I said, it doesn't matter, we're going to get called Nazis, whatever. We're moderates, we lean left, and we think he was way out of line.
He was way out of line. He basically was like, all Republicans are trash. I'm not going to repeat the language. You can read it here for yourself. And I think, Disney rightfully terminated him for that, because even though it is your private Twitter, you're still kind of speaking for the company, and you're denigrating half of the country with those comments.
Right, that's just it. You can't, when you work on something like that, and you have the privilege of being put in charge of something big, you're working for a big company, you can't just go spout off what you want and alienate half the fan base because you feel like it. You just can't do that. I mean, if you want to say those things, then you don't work for those companies.
Right. So people are thinking that Jon Favreau is a fan of Chuck Wendig's, which means he's going to take some cues from Chuck Wendig's books. And this basically, the Mandalorian is going to be a bait and switch, is what they're getting at. They're saying, look, we're going to lure you in with all this original trilogy stuff, but that might only be the first episode. After that, it's going to be all First Order.
Well, we'll find out soon enough.
It's going to be all First Order. So again, they're going on about Chuck Wendig's Aftermath trilogy. And so this is just, I don't have a real good feeling about this. They're also talking about it's just Sarlacc that Boba Fett's gonna crawl out of this.
That's funny.
So Pedro Pascal, who's the star, also tends to be very political. He's got a lot of strong political opinions, and I'll put links to those. It's pretty much what you would expect. Now look, this is Hollywood in general. Hollywood does have a lot of strong, very far left political leanings.
Well, I'm getting concerned about, and we're seeing it in comics, we're seeing it in entertainment, we're seeing it in Hollywood, it keeps coming up in the news in Hollywood, is this new McCarthyism type thing where if you don't lean enough the way we want, we're just going to make sure you don't work in the industry. That's why people are afraid to speak out. That's why people will say, they're actually coming out, actors are coming out and saying, I don't want to go to this event if this person's there because they don't lean 100% the way I do. And I'm like, whoa.
One thing I will give props to, Deborah Messing, I think was one of those from Will and Grace, who basically was like, we need a list of all of our Republican peers, so we know who to avoid working with.
That's not right. I'm sorry.
She basically called for a blacklist. I think it was Deborah Messing, and Whoopi Goldberg actually called her out.
Whoopi Goldberg was saying, and Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey were both saying you shouldn't do this.
And I completely agree with, because they come from a different time, you know. And if you set the precedent that you can create blacklists based on political beliefs or religious beliefs or whatever the deal is, then that's dangerous, because at that point you've just opened the floodgates. There can be blacklists for anybody for any reason.
Well, not just that, it's stupid.
It is
Welcome
stupid and
to the real world, where sometimes you got to work with people who are different than you, who are different gender than you, who are different race than you, who are a different religious background than you, who are different, you know, have a sexual orientation than you do, who are different political opinion than you do. That's reality. Every company you effing work for, you're going to run into people who are different from you. You can't go in to say, okay, I'm working at McDonald's now. Before I work here, I need to list everybody who voted for this person to make sure that whether or not I'm willing to work at your establishment and who I'm willing to work with. Because if they don't believe the 100% exact same thing I do, I'm not going to talk to them. This is stupid. And this is how mindless drones are created, and how, you know, there's no, this is the antithesis of diversity. It's the antithesis of diversity.
Yeah, and sometimes the company just says, you know what, just make the damn Big Macs. We don't care what your political opinions are. Just make the Big Macs.
And who's clamoring for Deborah Messing anyway?
Yeah, I know, right? Chuck Wendig, you just should have made the Big Macs. And
there's things I disagree with people on. I don't go onto Twitter, especially when we worked for different places, because we had clauses we couldn't. We didn't go onto Twitter and behave that way. You know what? Because I might not like what they believe, but there might be other things about the person I get along with. Like Chuck Wendig, I don't like what he said, but that doesn't mean that I'm, you know, maybe if I met him in person, I wouldn't, I would get along okay, and I might have to work with him someday. I don't like what he said. That doesn't mean I'm going to be like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, people's personality. That's the thing too. Like I want to, point out too, there are some people, we've run into this on Twitter too, where we saw people that we've known, that we've met in real life, turn into weirdos on social media. But we know, like in real life, if we had a conversation, it would be okay. Like we would just,
because we haven't changed. We're exactly the same where we've always been.
But then I think social media, because people read inflection, or it just amplifies, the worst thoughts that people have. A lot of times they come off as being different than they are in real life. Which, I'm just like, can't everybody just like sit down and have a conversation?
No, because you're on the internet.
It's just so weird. I mean, yeah, we haven't changed at all, but we've seen people that we've worked with or been around or met turn into seemingly different people on social media. But we know that if you actually, ran into them at a convention, you said, hey, let's, whatever.
If they talk to you, because some of them, they turn around and blocked us because we didn't even do anything. Just because somehow you went up on a list because you said you didn't think the Marvel numbers were, they were kind of worrisome, and maybe people, should take a look at it.
That's what triggered.
That's what you got you on a block list.
That's what set a lot of this stuff that we talk on the channel about. Is we basically said, hey, the Marvel numbers, they look kind of fishy, and also we were like, situation with like Mark Waid, we're like, I don't think it's right that one person is going to try to keep anybody they don't like out of comics,
right?
For whatever reason.
And then we're saying it again here, and it's like you don't. This is McCarthyism. Make no mistake, and that's what this is. It's a new version of it. You don't get to say because you didn't vote the way I voted, I don't want to work with you, or even some people like us who actually lean left. We don't lean left enough, so we don't want to work with you because you are far right, because you are like a fraction away from where I lean, so you are far right automatically.
You're far right, even though
you don't see it as much. I mean, I'm not on the other side.
Not as much. It's just turned to a cesspool. Like, again, social media, I think, has brought out the worst in people. Like, I don't know if Chuck Wendig would be this ridiculous if you met him in person.
Right.
But I can't imagine anyone saying these things in person.
I can't imagine saying them on. I wouldn't even say this stuff on the internet. I'm just like, I guess I'm just a different person, because from the way I've been trained professionally and stuff, I just would never say this stuff anyway, because it's going to come back to bite you in the ass, and that's just the way it is. And some things you just don't say on the internet.
Yeah, I'm just like, I get frustration. Look, I get frustration if you're frustrated with the way the country's going or whatever. I get that, but it's like, also you got to realize people get fired from Twitter like practically every week now. You got to watch what you say. You can think these things, but like, it's not. You
can say it to your friends and family privately, but you do not put it out on the internet.
We've gotten into some pretty heated discussions with our family, both sides.
Common sense.
Because we're like, I mean, we get into it all the time, but still, it's like, at the end of the day, everybody still gets along. There's still family, even though you might have some disagreements. But I would never go out and put anything like this in public, because I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is especially as a representative of a brand like Star Wars. You're asking for trouble.
Clearly appeals to people. And you know what else is funny? Star Wars appeals to people all across the world. And guess what? Not everybody in the world is Democrat or Republican. Imagine that. Mind blown. A lot of people who like these things, these shows, these IP, are not even in our country. So,
I think it's funny. I think it's funny when you have people being like, oh my God, America's so xenophobic and America's so myopic. But then they always distill all political conversations down to America's two parties.
Yeah. No matter what it is.
How myopic are you?
That's my point.
How myopic are you?
I mean, you are alienating people and basing it on your personal beliefs, but that's your personal beliefs, and you're representing a franchise that appeals to people that have many different beliefs from you, all across the world. So I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think I have concerns too. My concerns with this show again is I think that they're marketing this show like they're marketing The Rise of Skywalker, where they're trying to get you on board with nostalgia, but they're going to deviate so far from what the fans actually want.
Aren't they doing it too, where they're only going to release like one episode a week too? Because we had said everybody's just going to download or you pay for it, binge it, and then cancel. And they said that no, we're going to do one episode a week, and it's going to be real quick to see what they're going to do. Give it a week or two and then see.
Yeah, so I that's what I think. I think everything we've seen from The Mandalorian at this point, I think is the first episode or two. And they're probably right. It's probably by the end of it, it's going to be full-on sequel trilogy, First Order, Snoke, ridiculous characters, ridiculous aliens.
But they're going to do it First Order because they're going to tie it into their movies. Of course they are, because it's all about synergy. They actually have people who have the titles at Disney. There's something in charge of synergy.
Brand synergy.
And that's all they do. They sit down and put this comic and this book and the theme park and all the movie all together, and their job is to find ways to synergize all of it. That is literally their job. So of course it's going to be their trilogy. There's no way it's not going to be their trilogy.
You know what's probably going to happen? Half of this damn show is going to take place on Batuu to drive people's asses
Most
to
likely.
Galaxy's Edge.
I'm betting Batuu's in it. I have no doubt.
It's gonna be a 10-hour long commercial for Galaxy's Edge, starring Neil Patrick Harris in the final episode as a First Order officer.
Galaxy's Edge isn't doing well. Showtime synergy. It's like, that's all I keep thinking of.
The holograph, get people in. Oh my God.
People, let's go. Synergy.
Oh, that's what they're gonna do. I was looking forward to The Mandalorian, but you know what? I don't trust anything. I don't trust anything from Disney Star Wars anymore to be good. Sometimes I'm pleasantly surprised.
Sometimes you are, yeah.
Solo wasn't as atrocious as I thought it was going to be, but you could tell it was two different movies smushed together.
Uh-huh.
But this one, I just think, I think it's going to be, we're going to hit them with nostalgia first, get them on board, and then we're going to pull a bait and switch and get them on board with the sequel trilogy. Because we will not let it die.
No.
We can't. Everybody's got to love the sequel trilogy because we have a theme park. We have a theme park based on the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what it's going to be.
All right, so we're going to wrap this one up?
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants here on Clownfish TV. This has been Neon and Geeky.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.